Truist, everybody. What an amazing game last night. One of my favorite moments of the season actually occurred after the game. When I gave the MVP to Dubon, I tried to give him a walk-off interview, and he grabbed Eli White by the chest and dragged him up to the top because he wanted him to be the MVP. Eli White was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. But his catch was so good and his throw home was so good, he didn't want anybody else to forget about that. They are unsung heroes of this team. How about Georgie with the hustle? How about Dubon, who's hitting 750, bases loaded? You see Perez cheering. Here's the catch we talked about. The throw will be coming up in a second, but Yaz gave us a big insurance homer. That was fantastic to make it 3-1. Dom with 2 hits. And looks like we had a chance to be tied up, but here comes the throw. Let's not forget about the catch either from our catcher. It had to be reviewed, and it was fantastic. Sometimes we focus about the all-stars on this team and trying to get them to Philadelphia, and we're going to continue to do that. But do not forget about the unsung heroes of this very complete, deep baseball team. They get a ton of credit, too. You know who else is an unsung hero? David White, he's in the truck. Brandon, CJ on hot sticks. Chris Sale is electric. He's on the hill. Game 2 versus the Brew Crew. Who will be the unsung hero today?
Michelin, motion for life.
You're watching the Atlanta Braves on Braves Vision. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. By Yamaha. Visit YamahaBoats.com and discover why nothing feels like a Yamaha. And by Racetrack. Whatever gets you going. Partly cloudy, 80 degrees. Late afternoon start here at Truist Park. Just a beautiful day, beautiful weekend for baseball. Braves winning a beautiful ball game last night, 3-2. Now they'll try to go ahead and wrap up a series victory here against the Milwaukee Brewers. Here's the lineup for Pat Murphy's crew, presented by our good friends at Racetrack. Yelich led off yesterday with the lefty Sale on the mound. Yelich is out of the lineup, so it'll be Churio, Turang, and Contreras. The top 3 in the order for the Milwaukee Brewers. The City Connect uniforms on this Saturday. And Paul Bird, before the break, did a great report on the unsung heroes of yesterday's game, and Eli White at the top of that list, helping secure that victory on a wonderful Friday night here at Truist. And now it's a Chris Sale Saturday, Mr. Nitkowski.
We get excited for this one. 9 days of rest for Chris Sale. No doubt he'll be feeling strong here this afternoon. The fastball last time out, 97.5 miles an hour, something we talked about in the open. He continues to amaze at 37 years old and as strong as he has ever been.
How about your Ford keys this afternoon?
So kind of along those lines a little bit. So extra strong, extra rest is good. However, it's also that ability to control it a little bit, right? And sometimes there is such a thing as feeling too strong. So we know Chris Sale can pitch with a little bit of emotion. I think having that under control on a day when he would undoubtedly feel well is going to be important. And slurvy-turvy. Kyle Harrison on the other side, the breaking ball classifies as a slurve. I feel like it actually should be more of a swerve. When you see it, it's a sweeper action to it, but the speed is a little bit different. It has been really good. You can call it what you want. It has been a dominant pitch. That is something the Braves are going to have to contend with today. Just a 132 batting average against that slurve for Kyle Harrison.
Yeah, so a couple of lefties today on the mound. Racetrack defense, Dubon in left. Good to see Michael Harris back out there in center. Michael returning after that low back tightness. And then Joey Bart, his Braves debut for the Atlanta kid. And not only a Braves debut for Joey Bart, but think about this. He's never worked with Chris Sale. Now, Paul Bird was telling me, CJ, they talked a lot yesterday in the dugout watching the game, but it'll be interesting to see how that tandem does today.
So what's so unique about it, as we know, right, Chris Sale does not shake off. So if a catcher gets caught in between, sometimes maybe you'll put down a sign and say, let's see where he wants to go. No, he's going to go where you tell him to go. So there is a little bit of extra added pressure. And something that Nick Green brought up in the pregame show that was interesting, we noticed the last couple of times out how high the velocity was right from pitch one with Chris Sale. A lot of times we see him kind of crank it up late, but even throwing gas very early in his last few.
And he starts with gas. 98 to Jackson Chourio. Chris Sale's incredible career, start number 326 here today, and he quickly gets ahead of the leadoff hitter 0-2. With the win last night, Atlanta back to 20 games over 500, 7.5 game cushion in the NL East above the Phillies. Busts him inside at 97.
I mean, the things you have to also learn when you're learning a pitcher. Where does he like to go when he's behind? What is the best location on the fastball? Kind of the comfort level for Chris Sale.
Tries to hit that corner. Ron Kulpa, the crew chief, is calling the balls and strikes today.
Yeah, I hate to do it, BG, but somebody's got to be last. And when it comes to accuracy behind the plate, Ron Kulpa is last among MLB umpires.
Well, he doesn't have to call a ball or strike there. Sale gets it past Chourio, 1 down.
Just a mere 98 miles an hour on this fastball from Chris Sale, going right at Jackson Chourio, as we told you coming into the series, as hot as anybody in baseball.
He's now 1 for 5 in this series as Chourio, but last night's game he was remembered for being thrown out at home by Eli White, helping the Braves seal that 3-2 victory. And now Eli White, instead of being in left field today, is out in right with Michael Harris returning out in center.
Yeah, it seems like with Mauricio Dubon, the preference is to put him in left over right. We know, of course, if Yaz is in the lineup, it goes the other way like it was yesterday. And that is an amazing glove that Michael Harris, and I feel like that might be the first time I've seen that one. Does that match his hat that he has that got released this weekend at Threads?
Let's get a look at this baby.
Have you seen the hat?
I have not.
So the hat has kind of the clouds, much like his chain. And I think that might be a matching glove with his amazing hat that debuted this weekend.
Well, it works perfect with the City Connect ensemble today.
He's got to have a design person, right, that does all this?
Yes.
He's not doing all this on
I mean,
his
if
own.
he is, it's incredibly impressive. But
yeah. By the way, I have that hat now. You just say something around here, next thing you know, it's in your hands.
Val makes it happen.
Yeah. So it is the Michael Harris II Cloud 23 cap, designed by Michael himself as a throwback to his childhood. And they are available at Threads beginning, well, it was yesterday, right? I believe it was last night. There we go. They are available. And they're dope. Do they still say that?
I think the kids do. Terang tried to stop on that slider from Sale. He could not. So a great start here for Sale. Back-to-back strikeouts.
His slider is so tough. And his last start, only 4 swings and misses against his slider. One already here this afternoon against the Brewers, who we know are a good contact team.
And we talked about it yesterday for this offense, but they're top 5 in scoring. But it is a small ball approach. They're bottom 5 in home runs. But they will get on base. They will steal bases and find ways to manufacture.
And watching their approach today will be interesting. And obviously they had a lefty also with Martin Perez that they faced. They came into the series with the lowest swing percentage against lefties in the National League, right? So they've been incredibly patient. Well, Chris Sale is going to come right at you. He's going to be aggressive, right? And you don't want to get behind in the count because he's such a great strikeout pitcher. So the way they've approached lefties up to this point could really work against them with a guy like Chris Sale.
Deep out to left center. Harris over there. And just before the track, he's got it. And what Chris Sale has is a 1-2-3 first, and the Bravos are coming up. Mauricio Dubon had the big 2 RBI hit against Mizrowski in the 6th yesterday. Did that while batting 5th in the order. He leads off today. The lineup is brought to you by Racetrack. Harris 5th in his return, and Joey Bart hitting 8th for the Bravos. And Kyle Harrison 24-year-old lefty on the mound for the Brew Crew.
8-1 so far in his 13 starts. He has given up 7 home runs in his 65 2/3 innings. The fastball sits at 95. Mentioned the slurve that you get from him. Changeup every once in a while, a two-seamer, but this guy is really, really good, and that slurve has been a nasty pitch for him.
Dubon not wasting any time, taking the four-seam fastball and bouncing to Ortiz. Let's look at the outfield first for the Brewers. Racetrack defense, Churio, Mitchell, and Perkins. Vaughn across the way from Ortiz, Pratt, the rookie, and then Turang up the middle, and Contreras behind the dish.
So last night the Braves faced a pitcher who had the most strikeouts on the four-seam fastball in baseball. Well, now they face the pitcher with the second most strikeouts on the four-seam fastball in Kyle Harrison. Now it's a huge lead for a guy like Mizorowski, who's now up to 97 of those strikeouts just on the four-seamer alone.
Yeah, and a very different fastball, right?
Yeah, the drop-off is considerable, but it's still a tough fastball. Again, now 53, as you see it there, strikeouts for Harrison. Second most on the four-seamer, but yeah, different velocity by about 9 miles an hour. And this guy throws hard, right? Sitting at 95, we saw Mizorowski, I guess, closer to 103, 104 at times, so maybe not quite that many. Then, of course, the effective velocity is really kind of what Jacob Mizorowski uses to separate himself.
And that last pitch was that slurve that CJ was talking about. There it is again. It's been a great pitch, and it's 2-2 now.
Take a look at the entire pitch arsenal here for Kyle Harrison and what we're talking about. A lot of fastballs, nearly 60% of the time on that four-seamer. There's the slurve, and the other two he doesn't use nearly as much, the changeup and the sinker.
And he goes back to the four-seamer to get the strikeout of Drake Baldwin.
Take a look at this four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. His average kind of jump, that induced vertical break, is closer to league average, but that effective speed plays up a little bit because he's a guy that gets pretty respectable extension.
Braves have faced Kyle Harrison once before. It was August of '24 when he was with the Giants out in San Francisco. He threw 5 innings that day. Now the first time they see him in a Brewers uniform. And Harrison and Sale off to a good start. Both retire them in order in the first. Clean first for both starters. Let's go down to Paul Burt. It's time for our GMC Field Report.
You got it, BG. You know, a baseball player, they leave in February. They never come home till September, hopefully October. Joey Bart was very complimentary of his parents, Tom and Karen, who spent a lot of time with him during his baseball career. So it was unusual 2 days ago when he called his dad, Tom, and said, "Dad, I'm coming home." I said, "What do you mean you're coming home?" He said, "Dad, I got traded to Atlanta. I'm coming home." It was all smiles and cheers, and they are in the stands today, fired up to support their son. And Chris Sale just walked over to him after the first inning, as CJ said, who does not shake off, and tapped him on the back and gave knuckles, and he got the seal of approval. So they're off to a good start. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I love the chemistry so far, guys, and the family in the crowd. Chills.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? I mean, the idea, you never know. Georgia Tech guy, Buford High School, you're going to get the opportunity to play for the team that you grew up rooting for and following. And he got that answer a little bit later in his career, but it's an incredible moment when it happens. And congratulations to Joey Bart and his family. And now we're ready to go on a nice little run. We got big goals here in Atlanta.
And congratulations to Joey on, I don't want to say fulfilling a childhood dream as far as Major League Baseball. He had already accomplished that, but certainly when he grew up being such a big Braves fan and cheering on Brian McCann, whose number he now wears, number 16, this has to be a pretty special moment for Joey Bart. 2-2 here to the cleanup hitter, Gary Sanchez. He's going to challenge, and he's going to win this challenge. It's going to be a 3-2
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter's challenging.
I mentioned there have been some struggles this year for Ron Kolba, and below the zone is one of those areas in which he has opened it up.
Yeah, there were two there, or have been two now, I should say, to Sanchez that were low. The first one, Sanchez did not challenge, but he does there. Then he fouls off the four-seamer.
What's so strange about those, and I wonder for pitchers and for catchers, you think about how you want to get to certain places. All right, you threw that pitch after the slider, if you like that, right? He went slider changeup. And so can you really throw it again, or you treat it like he did see that pitch even though it didn't count for him, got overturned, and do you go with the same strategy? But Chris Sale instead goes back to the fastball.
And ends up walking Gary Sanchez to start the second. Home Depot working on a win, looking at the last 6 starts, averaging 97 or more on that four-seamer.
How absurd is that, right? That last one was 97.5 miles per hour. He had not done that since August of 2018. So you're looking at 8 years. Kind of noted it because it was 2 in a row leading into his last one, and was even better as far as the velocity went in that last one. And it defies all logic. Everything that he has been through with the arm, his age, everything. It's incredible to see what Chris Sale is doing right now with his fastball.
And now today having the extra rest, having last thrown on June 10th and today being June 20th. So certainly he must feel extra fresh in the center of the diamond. A ball and 2 strikes to Andrew Vaughn. Line to right. Catch is made. Eli White thought about throwing over there to first, but Sanchez was close enough that he gets back.
I do wonder for Joey Bart as he's back there. He's seen Chris Sale. He knows Chris Sale, but now he's getting this real kind of up close and personal look. And so as he's seeing the four-seamer, he's seeing the slider, that occasional changeup, occasional two-seamer. If there's a pitch you start to like, he may say something like, oh, I never knew Chris Sale's changeup was this good, as he start to kind of call it a little bit more, especially with all the righties that are in the lineup today. And again, Chris Sale's going to go with what you go with, but I do wonder, is there a conversation and say, hey, don't like that changeup too much. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to follow you, but I like my changeup. You seem to love it. Things like that, I wonder if they come up or not during the game.
Again, Birdie noted that the two of these guys, Sale and Joey Bart, sat at the top step of the dugout yesterday for a few innings and talked, getting to know each other and obviously talking strategy, just to get a little familiarity ahead of today's ball game. Blake Perkins at the plate, always known as a glove first guy, but he has really had his issues at the plate this year. All of his numbers offensively career lows. They've got him hitting 6th today, awaiting an 0-2. Hits it hard and out to right center. So he's able to get it by Ozzie, and 2 on with 1 out.
Well, probably one of the few fastball locations that Perkins can get to, and that is up and away. We know Chris Sale will go there a lot of times for swing and miss, also to tunnel his slider. You see that short swing, choked up and just trying to put the ball in play, and he got one that he could get the barrel on.
And on to Garrett Mitchell, 5 homers, 34 driven in this season. A couple of hits yesterday.
On paper, this looks like a really bad matchup for Mitchell today. All right, it's a left-handed hitter with a higher strikeout rate. Mentioned this is a contact team, but he's kind of one of the ones that sticks out here among this group with a 35% strikeout rate. Their active roster is at 21%, including him, so significantly higher than everybody else.
And he's down 1-2 after swinging and missing at the slider.
And you can see where the Milwaukee Brewers can be a little bit susceptible to left-handed pitching. They've got 2 lefties and a switch hitter in there today, and everybody on the bench, right? All 4 guys on the bench are left-handed hitters.
By the way, the folks that probably don't want to watch today's game are Boston Red Sox fans because Chris Sale, of course, coming from Boston in that trade. For Vaughn Grissom on the other side, Kyle Harrison was also in Boston's organization. They let him go before this year in a trade. And the Braves are sure happy to have Chris Sale. That is 3 strikeouts, 2 down here in the second.
98 miles an hour here on this heater, and a good one that nails and dots that outside corner. When you mentioned those trades, those are both, I believe, Craig Breslow trades. And it was a big one as far as the Brewers went. That was Caleb Durbin and Monasterio, and as they were acquiring some infielders and Kyle Harrison moving on. 2 pitchers that have left Boston and have done exceptionally well since.
Yeah, Chris Sale obviously had the long track record, had the injuries before coming to Atlanta. Harrison has had a little bit of success at the big league level, but nothing like his success this year. It's a breakout campaign, and so certainly Red Sox fans probably feel like they let a couple of good ones get away. 0-2 now to Cooper Pratt.
He's going to get his first Chris Sale back foot slider here that has eaten up so many right-handed hitters over the years, or maybe backdoor.
First time Pratt has seen this lefty. And he got it on the outside. That backdoor slider fouls it away. Let's take a look at our Comcast business defend the mound. So this season, runners in scoring position by outs, and as more outs have built in the inning, he's been even better.
So my buddy Kevin Franson actually sent me that today, and he said, is that right that Chris Sale's only had an .042 batting average against him? And I was like, not only is it right, he has punched out 14 of the 24 at-bats that he's had in that situation, where you have 2 outs, a runner in scoring position, and he is striking those batters out at a higher than 50% rate. It's incredible.
Let's see if he can make it 15 of 25 here. Puts it in play. Sale hustles over, and they get him. So he works around a couple of base runners in the second. Our Whataburger, what a play. 6th inning last night. Dubon had the big hit off of Mizorowski. And coming in to score that go-ahead run was Ozzie Albies. Was worried about Ozzie with that slide, but thankfully he was okay, and now he leads off here at the bottom of the second.
Yeah, I'm with you, right? He kind of rolled on that shoulder and then popped up, and a little bit concerning, but obviously a non-issue for Ozzie Albies, and what a big play that was. A couple of big plays at the plate last night.
Ozzie shoots it to right towards Perkins. I'll tell you what, CJ, last night, for me, might have been the most fun game we've worked this season.
It was a great one. I mean, there's been some really good ones, and actually Mauricio Dubon was asked about that as far as how last night compared. He talked about the Dom Smith walk-off grand slam. That certainly was a big one. I think it's not just the game by itself, but what kind of led up to it, right? Not playing well on the road and not playing well against the San Francisco Giants. It was the first lull that the Braves have been through, and you knew Jacob Mizorowski was coming to town and how problematic that potentially could be. So they played a really clean game. They beat one of the best in the game, and I think that probably is what led to what you're talking about and how great that actually felt yesterday.
And just several big plays, and as you said, the couple of plays by Eli White in the outfield. It was a special night in front of a packed house. Another great crowd here today for Game 2 of the series as they watch Michael Harris return to the lineup. Remember, he left Tuesday night's game with low back tightness. Didn't play in either game of the doubleheader on Wednesday. And then he sat out last night as well.
There was some speculation maybe that he was going to go on the IL, and we thought maybe it'd be a couple more days. Could it be a pinch hit situation? But this is really encouraging that Michael is in a lineup.
And he was testing it out because actually the Braves released a lineup without Harris in it, and then 30 minutes later they changed and added him.
Tommy Watkins getting out there and running some sprints with Michael Harris, trying to stay young. Or maybe he's like, hey, you know, Michael's going to run 75% speed sprints. Oh, let me get out there. I'll give you my 100, and it'll look like we had the same speed. Nobody has to know.
Tommy's been a great pickup, by the way. Last 7 years he was on staff with the Twins and one of their base coaches, but he's been a really good fit here in Atlanta. That's in there at the knees. No argument from Michael Harris. So Harrison strikes out Harris, 2 away.
It's a good looking fastball, really good location. This is tough left on left. And Michael has shown much more patience this year. We know he's having a great season. That fastball just stayed there. I think he expected that one maybe to fall just a little bit below or off the plate.
You know, in the open, we were talking about Harrison. CJ, you mentioned that all of his starts but one, he's given up 2 earned runs or less, which is really impressive. And that one blow-up outing he had was in Vegas, so you kind of put an asterisk by that because every pitcher that threw in that ballpark is getting hit bad.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in a couple of years. I know where the Major League Stadium is going to be about 1,000 feet lower than where the AAA ballpark is, and it'll have a roof, so it probably won't be exactly the same, but you might be hearing some stories coming out of Las Vegas in a couple of years that are leaving pitchers in tears.
He gave up 8 runs, 3 homers, and 2 1/3 in that game in Vegas, did Harrison. But every other start has been solid. And another solid start for Harrison. Clean through 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down. Well, we've been telling you that it's A-List Member Appreciation Week presented by SeatGeek. So there's a lot of exclusive events you get to go to. But the biggest member event of the year is there's the Member Bash at the Coca-Cola Roxy. Live music, games, giveaways, ton of fun. Thanks to all of the A-Listers for their continued support. Braves.com/waitlist if you want to be an A-List member. Sale back to work, 9-1-2, starting with Joey Ortiz. No one invited us to the bash.
No, I thought
Roxy.
the same thing, and I was, you know, I'm just going to keep that to myself. But
Yep.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yep.
Because I feel the same way.
It's
Where's the B-list party? Can we get to that one? Or is it C-list?
well, I think we're the E-list.
All right, keep going.
We're in the everyone category. The rest of them, the unwashed. That's where our party is. I'll have to send this text to Sarit. Maybe our invite got lost in the mail. 3 strikeouts so far for Chris Sale. A couple of base runners there in the second, but he worked around it. Matt Olson will do the work himself. 1 down. Jackson Churio, a strikeout victim of Sale to start the game. And with those 3 strikeouts that Sale has, he's now 26th on the all-time list. The next guy that he will catch is none other than the great Cy Young. Now he's about 25 away from Cy Young, but Chris Sale will soon be in the top 25 as far as strikeout leaders go in the history of our great game.
So amazing names, but they're certainly not all created equal. And I get it. It's a different generation, different era as far as what it looked like with strikeouts. But anytime that name comes up, that's one where you stop for a second and really kind of say, wow.
Of course, Chris Sale getting his first Cy Young Award a couple of seasons ago here in Atlanta with that spectacular 2024 campaign. Mateo backhands and tosses across to get Churio.
Mateo's done a really good job both offensively and defensively when he has gotten his opportunities. I was a little bit concerned about the hamstring, but clearly he is fine here today as he finished that game yesterday and looking good once again over at short.
Yeah, he beat out an infield single last night if you weren't with us at first base, and then he wasn't hobbling, but he was clearly showing some discomfort. But he told Walt Weiss that he wanted to stay in the game, and he's back out there today.
So as good as Turang has been, and we'll talk about him as an emerging star in the game, the splits are pretty drastic, right versus left. Only hitting 171 against lefties this year compared to that 303 against right-handed pitching.
When you combine both sides, his offense has improved year over year. Fourth big league season for Turang. He's always been an excellent defender, but the bat has continued to get a little bit better each season. But he was a Gold Glover 2 years ago at second base. He was the runner-up last year to Nico Horner for the Gold Glove Award at second base again. That is on the corner. Strike three. 2 strikeouts so far for Bryce Turang. You know what's good on Father's Day weekend? Don't have the wife cook, just put in a little frozen pizza.
July 7th, 2019 against Miami. Charlie clutch. Culberson with a throw home to gun down the tying run in the 9th. That throw was 98.3 miles an hour. Eli White last night, 95.3 miles an hour, the fastest of his career. Charlie told me today on the Bringing the Lumber show, which we feature right before our pregame, it was his best throw of his career. And how can we argue? He, like Eli White, had the clutch gene and seemed to always come through. Both these guys are friends and text each other. Last night, having played together in Texas, it's a wonderful friendship, and all the compliments were going out back and forth. We waited, let me do my math correctly, 7 years for that throw. Here we go last night. Eli lines it up. The double bounce, and let's not forget about the great catch by Drake. After the review, this stadium went nuts, guys.
That was electric. Unfortunately, Eli's down on strikes here, but that play and then the catch that he made in the corner and left off the bat of Yelich, those were 2 unbelievable plays.
Yeah, low catch probability. If you like that kind of stuff, it was an amazing play into the corner for Eli White. But that throw, a foot to the left, foot to the right, and he is going to be safe. Jackson Churio in that spot, and we talked about it at the time. Bertie mentioned it, holding on to the baseball, the challenge as well that Drake Baldwin was up for. It was the perfect play in the biggest of moments.
And guys, I know Charlie has a great arm, but you know, like when you catch a fish and over the years it grows a little bit. And 98.3, that's up there. But Charlie did have a fantastic arm.
Oh, so he only told you that? That's not actual data?
I'm trusting Charlie on that.
Well,
I'm really trusting Charlie, which I normally don't do.
He could have said 105 birdies, so, you know. All right, here's Joey Bart. First at bat as an Atlanta Brave here for Joey Bart. 29 years old. CJ mentioned it. Went to Buford High School. Played at Georgia Tech. #2 pick by the Giants in 2018. Out there in San Francisco, things didn't go as planned. Then 3 years in Pittsburgh, and now traded on Thursday here to the Braves. And his family looking on. Two-two pitch, and he lifts to right. And Perkins will come in to make the catch. 2 down. Also need to note for Joey Bart, he's been out since May 10th. He had a bad left foot infection. So when he was traded to the Braves, he was actually on a rehab assignment. So it's his first time facing big league pitching in over 5 weeks.
And that's a big deal, right? How much time you miss. And again, you can do things all day long as far as, you know, hitting off the tee and working off machines, but there's nothing that compares to getting in the box with some game day adrenaline, facing good big league pitching, and they got a good one here today in Harrison. So it'll take a little while for Joey Bart, I'm sure, to get comfortable.
Let's take a look at today's Engineered to Win, presented by Range Rover Sport. Talking about the shortstop Jorge Mateo, looking at his average by season. Pretty good this year, 283 in that Atlanta uniform. Retrieve his bat, down 1-2.
Do you remember what date Birdie said that play was, or what year it was?
2019.
It was 2019. Was it against the Mets?
July 7th, David said.
July 7th. All right.
Did you look up the data?
I'm looking at it right now.
Uh-oh.
I mean, listen, since it's a friendship between him and Eli White, and Eli White sounded like he was getting the short end of the stick, and I'm looking at something that says that might not actually be true.
Are you airing Charlie's dirty laundry? Ooh, Mateo.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter's challenging.
This looked like it was in there just barely at the bottom of the zone.
Pitch is a strike. Landon's got 1 challenge left.
Kyle Harrison fooling these hitters, 9 up and 9 down with 5 strikeouts. Today's A-list member of the game, Jason Cohn of Atlanta. Jason been an A-lister since '97. His favorite perks are having access to exclusive events throughout the year. Congratulations to Jason, today's A-list member of the game.
That's a great run. 97 get me thinking a little bit. Who was the longest tenured A-list member? I'd like to know the answer to that one.
I think we could get that information.
A lot of information gathering going on over the last half inning.
I don't know. My data says that Charlie's throw from the outfield was 117.
Oh, nice. Where'd you see that, at charlieculberson.com?
It was on his MySpace page. It broke the major league record. We love you, Charlie. We do. Whatever Charlie's number was, Eli's, we know what his was last night, and it was an incredible throw. Contreras hit it pretty deep out to left center back in the first inning, but it was caught by Harris.
Take a little off for that strike there from Chris Sale at 93 miles an hour. Again, the velocity has been solid once again this afternoon, but coming off a game in which he averaged 97.5 miles an hour.
From 3-0 to 3-2. And Contreras with a line drive, base hit to left.
You mentioned last time a pretty good swing against a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that turned into an out. This time it's 94 from Chris Sale. Contreras has been good this year. He's lowered his strikeouts. The walks have also come with it, but he's been swinging more and he's been getting good results.
Of course, a part of the 21 title team here in Atlanta. And he battled last year, did Contreras, because he had a broken left middle finger for most of the season, played through it, knew he was going to have surgery, had the surgery after the season was over. But he still has not spent any time on the IL since Atlanta traded him in December of 22. So it's been a bit of an Iron Man, has William Contreras. Next to the current Iron Man, Matt Olson over there. This could be 2. Sanchez does not run well. Not only is it 2, it's 2 by a country mile. 6-4-3, and there are a pair of outs here in the 4th.
So this was a topic of conversation at the beginning of the year regarding Chris Sale. It's not something that happens very often, which a ground ball double plays behind him. Now this is the 2-seam fastball that he uses, which is a really good ground ball pitch. But I believe a year ago for Chris Sale, he had only 2 ground ball double plays. Check that, 3 behind him. He's got 5 already this year, and that was number 6, I believe.
Came at a perfect time. Is there any way to check the largest distance that a player was out by at first base this year on a 6-4-3 double play?
There probably is a way. Sanchez making his best effort to be the leader of the class.
And now Sale is a strike away from sending us to the bottom of the 4th as he gets ahead of Andrew Vaughn.
What I really want to know is, where are our second inning stakes? Are they chasing that cow around the battery or something?
See, someone told CJ he was getting a tomahawk steak, and now he is on the lookout.
I skipped lunch when I got that text.
Slider in the dirt. Vaughn goes after it. So a leadoff single, but no damage done here in the top of the 4th. So Charlie Culberson watching the broadcast. He little mea culpa. See, I was just a little off on my numbers.
Yeah, it's the problem with this generation. Unfortunately, it's going to make it a lot harder to lie to people. We got data everywhere, and so while we wish that throw was 98, it was a great play. At the end of the day, nothing that we're taking away from it, but Eli got you by about 4 miles an hour.
Dubon top of the order here. Let's see if the Braves can figure something out against Kyle Harrison. He has now retired the first 10 that he has faced.
Guys, this is why it's tough to trust hitters sometimes with the info, you know?
What about
I'm
pitchers?
trusting Charlie on that. You know, pitchers lie too, but I don't know. There's a lot of hitters that tell me they hit the ball 490 feet, you know, and I check, and it's just 410.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good thing Frenchie's not here.
Well, yeah, that's the king of whoppers.
But I agree with you. What a great throw. And, you know, Eli was the star of the game and went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. It's a great way of showing don't take your at-bats to the field with you and beat the team in a different way. And he did that.
And we've seen that pretty consistently with the Atlanta Braves, and I think it's a lot has to do with the people you bring in your clubhouse and the character and understanding how important that is. I'm not going to say who it was, but I was kind of keeping on. I noticed something with a player who had been struggling offensively on another team, and he's making some really bad decisions defensively. And I asked somebody from that team, I said, this guy takes his at-bats onto the field, and when he doesn't finish it any well offensively, you hope they don't hit the ball to him, quite honestly, because it just carries over, and it's one of those things that it's pretty unprofessional. You got to stay locked in, and Eli did it yesterday.
And those things don't really show up in the box score, what you're talking about right now. But it's a difference between a win and a loss many times.
And Bertie, I love what you were telling us earlier about how you had gone over to interview Mauricio Dubon as a player of the game, and he said no. And didn't you say he grabbed Eli White and said, this is the guy you need to talk to?
Yeah, he didn't want to be the walk-off interview. He didn't want to be the MVP of the game. He said it was Eli. He grabbed Eli by the shirt and the chest, and he said, no, it's you. And then Eli said, no, it's you. He's like, get up there, both. And I said, we're taking you both. Let's go. You're co-MVPs, and I'll interview you both. And they gave great answers to great questions. And, man, it was just the crowd could not stop cheering. And it's one of my favorite interviews of all time.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good teammates. All right, let's have Matt Olson here do something against Kyle Harrison. It's now 6 strikeouts already for him. Well, center field well struck, but Mitchell is going to go back and have room to bring it in. So Olson gave it a ride, but still perfect for Harrison through 4.
We need a rally stake.
Is EBCI night here at Truist Park. The Braves and Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians have a long-standing partnership that continues to grow and evolve every year. And the two have partnered with EBCI's Atlanta Braves Culture Committee on programs and events designed to educate and showcase their culture to Braves country. And before the game, a lot of stuff on field around the ballpark celebrating EBCI night here at Truist. Brandon, CJ, and Birdie with you as we start the 5th inning. We've got a pitcher's duel here between Chris Sale and Kyle Harrison.
When we saw the probables for this series, we knew these first couple in particular were going to be really good because of Mizorowski, because of Kyle Harrison, and so far it has turned out to be that way. Great game yesterday, and something we talked about, what matters, the little things when you know you're likely going to get a really well pitched game. And yesterday the Braves were excellent in all those close spots defensively, little things they had to do offensively, and we're right back in that spot here this afternoon.
Ron Kolpa, you said it earlier, he will call that pitch down, and he has done that quite a bit here today. Little surprised that Perkins didn't challenge it, but it is a low leverage spot. Who's it going to be? Mateo. 1 down. Let's take a look at our Truist leaderboard. Best record against teams with a 500 or better record, and the Braves 29-16. The Brewers right there on their heels.
And we know how good the Braves have been all year. Quietly, the Milwaukee Brewers are getting it done again, right? They won the division the last 2 years. I thought at the beginning of this year, I'm like, it's probably going to run out on them a little bit. The Cubs look great on paper. They traded away Freddie Peralta, right? They always are turning over their roster, and they're very much like the Tampa Bay Rays. They're easy to overrate and kind of look over, gloss over. And there again, really great record against good teams, and first place once again in that National League Central.
And since May 1st, they have the best record in baseball at 29-14. 45-28 overall under Pat Murphy's watch. And all Pat Murphy knows since becoming their manager is being the manager of the year in the National League. He won it in 24, he won it in 25, and now in his 3rd season as their skipper. So we were talking yesterday, CJ, you brought up the fact that Pat Murphy's going to have surgery on his hip during the All-Star break. Now he actually has to have a back surgery Thursday of this week.
Wow.
During their off day, because he's got a ruptured disc in his lower back to go along with a hip surgery. So he's planning to not miss any time, but that's 2 pretty serious operations coming up in short order.
Yep, that is significant. You can tell with Pat Murphy, he has pretty much been seated this entire series outside of that one potential challenge that we were having, and he wanted to make sure that his voice was heard, and we saw him pop up, and I'm sure it took quite a bit of effort to work through it. And he's one of the good ones. He's a good guy. I talked to him quite a bit on the radio side, and he's always a good interview. Loves the game, passionate about the game, passionate about players and playing the game properly, and you hate to see him go through this right now. But he's been out there every day, which is amazing. I mean, the idea of saying I'm going to not miss any time, well, that's a good example, I guess, for your players.
Yeah.
What are you going to complain about?
I mean, I thought the surgery next week for the lower back on an off day, I thought for sure he would miss a game or 2, but he's planning on coming back next Friday. 6 strikeouts now for Chris Sale. So both of these hurlers have 6 Ks today.
You see Mitchell here. We talk about the strikeout rate, and now his is much higher than everybody else in this lineup, and then you get left on left, and this is a really tough bat. When you have swing and miss in your game and you're lefty and you got to face Chris Sale, it's odds stacked heavily against you.
Shallow left for Dubon, and he will take it, and Chris Sale will take a 1-2-3 fifth. We are halfway home.
To you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, happy birthday.
President and CEO Derek Schiller today celebrating the 16th anniversary of his 40th birthday. And Derek is the best, and we wish him a very, very happy birthday and another great trip around the sun.
Is he shaking his head because he knows we're showing him right now for his birthday? Happy birthday, Derek. I mean, it has been a year. It has been a year. We're not done with this year just yet. We want to finish it really strong. But as far as getting this network launched and a lot that has gone on, and while it's been a good day for him, it became an even better day for us, BG. It is steak rally time.
Deep to right off the bat of Ozzie Albies, and it is gone. The first base runner of the day for Atlanta ends up being a solo shot to put the Braves on top.
Right as Val dropped the steak on our desk. Let's go. Impressive for a lot of reasons. This guy's throwing a perfect game. We know how difficult he is to hit. He elevates a fastball there at 95 miles an hour that Ozzie is able to get under and drive to the opposite field.
On an 0-2 pitch, so Harrison had gone 12 up and 12 down until meeting Ozzie Albies here in the bottom of the fifth. And a celebration up here. That's a man happy about his steak and a man happy about Ozzie Albies solo homer.
I'm not going to say it's split down the middle, the level of excitement. It definitely leans Ozzie, but this thing smells amazing.
11th homer of the year for Ozzie. That's the first time all season that an opposing pitcher has retired the first 12 in the Braves lineup. And yet here we go, Atlanta with a solo homer, and they're still leading thanks to great work by Chris Sale and one swing of the bat by Ozzie.
You were talking about that game in Vegas. 3 home runs allowed for Kyle Harrison in that one, and you kind of throw that one out the window a little bit. And other than that, it only been 1 home run in his other 5 starts. Take out the Vegas start. That is how good he has been. That is how hard it is to get the ball up in the air deep. But Ozzie was able to do it.
Well, Michael Harris hits it pretty deep. But this one just warning track power. Wouldn't that have been something? Toyota Trends feature Braves against lefty starters 21-10 and trying to get to 22-10 today.
So even though there are quite a few left-handed hitters in this lineup, and thinking about Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, they don't have issues against lefties. You also get to turn around Ozzie Albies, who is really good against lefties, has been over the course of his career, and you can see why the Braves have been so good against those left-handed starters.
Another ball in the air. This one shallow right. Perkins squeezes. A quick message here from Truist.
Leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist. Learn how knowledge and care can work for you.
Two away. Eli White. Great work defensively, but in the series at the plate, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. See if he can put something in play here in the 5th inning. He does put something in play. This is going to be close. He beat it out. The speed of Eli White. Infield single.
He deserves it, right? Everything that Eli White has done. We talked about the big game yesterday, but had been on a little bit of a streak here with the strikeouts, including one here this afternoon. But for Ortiz, that little bit of touch of the glove right there probably cost him. Right? We talk about knowing your runner. You don't have time to collect. You got to be quick on a slow ground ball like that when Eli White is running.
Now two guys who were drafted by the Giants squaring off here. And Joey Bart and Kyle Harrison. Joey Bart to straightaway center field. Mitchell is there, but Ozzie gets the Braves on the board with a solo homer to right.
An impressive one at that, to the opposite field here for Ozzie Albies to get the Braves up 1-0 in a very tight game with the Brewers. Let's eat.
So Ozzie with a solo shot, 1-0. Chris Sale back to work now in the 6th, and we got some work to do here in the booth. All right, tell us what we're eating up here now. Oh, he's chewing. CJ's chewing.
Yeah, took off, bit off a little more than I could chew, I believe is how the phrase works. So Vice Steak Bar, they have a stand here now at the ballpark. They have what we have, which is the tomahawk, which I told Gretchen we're going to throw that bone out during Cracker Jack today. What do you think? 7th inning stretch. Somebody's going to catch the bone. The best news of the day is that there's 2 of these. So they set it down. I know it's big, but I haven't eaten. I love steak. And I was like, well, all right, I guess I'm going to have to split this with BG. And then I saw the other one come in, and that was another fist pump for me. So there's an actual, and this, listen, this was completely coincidental. I promise you I wouldn't lie to you on this one. I went to the restaurant in Milton not that long ago. My wife and I, probably a month or 2 ago, we went to the Vice Steak Bar, which is there in Milton, kind of Crabapple area. Had a really nice time, just totally random. And I find out today that we're getting these tomahawk steaks from Vice Steak Bar. So it is excellent. Pretty cool place. A couple local guys that own this Wagyu cattle. Their processing facilities up in LJ. They even have a butcher shop in Johns Creek called Vice Kitchen. And also a smash burger place in downtown Crabapple there at the restaurant. So some pretty cool stuff. So you can get a big tomahawk steak or the steak sandwich, which I'm going to push for next homestand when we're back and get a taste of that as well. But you cannot deny the power of steak. As soon as Val set it down in front of us, Ozzie Albies went deep.
And now Chris Sale likes steak, and he gets his 7th strikeout. Ortiz down looking. The flavor on that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's as soon as she set it down, you could smell it right away. This is delicious. I'm happy to be here, but if somebody wants to just put pause on this game for about 20 minutes, I'd be okay with that too.
There's also a pound of potatoes up here.
Yeah, that's where you got to be careful, right? If you want to eat, they're delicious, but if you want to get all this in, right? That was Michael Jordan, right? The steak. I feel like that was something I missed out on during my playing career. It's like a cheat code, quite honestly, for athletes when it comes to steak.
You know, something interesting is that's where you can get it, by the way, the outfield market. There's so much good stuff out there. That's them chopping up the tomahawk steak to put on the steak sandwich. But these hitters have been patient, CJ.
Yeah.
So far, only 2 of the first 19 have offered at a first pitch from Chris Sale. Now, some of the pitches have been out of the zone, but they've been a little patient today.
It lines up with what we talked about with the Milwaukee Brewers and them not swinging nearly as much, lowest in the National League against lefties, right? So they've shown that patience, and I think part of it is because the way their lineup is built, they can be a little bit susceptible to those lefties, right? So that, I think, probably plays into it, and they don't chase. Right, a 28% chase rate against lefties, 3rd best in the National League as well. So you're not swinging very often, and you're not chasing. I think kind of leads to what you're talking about here.
Churio got ahead 2-0 now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the flavor on this thing is phenomenal.
Yep, the chimichurri. What is the? These are just red tomatoes. I don't know about the tomato part.
I'm going to try the tomatoes now. Let's see. Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
Mateo couldn't get to it. So Churio is 1 for 3.
The first pitch double play. Got some work to do over here. Change up you get here from Chris Sale. That one kind of cut back a little bit. You're usually going to see that change up run away from those righties, down and away. You get that pretty firm. 109.
Well, we've talked about what a zone Churio has been in this month. Now Turang. Now 2 strikeouts so far for Turang. 1 looking, 1 swinging.
Just need a little candlelight, maybe a white tablecloth, and you and I would be good to go.
Sounds like a bad hinge date. The only thing I haven't tried is the potatoes.
Yeah, they're delicious.
I do want to be careful there because, like you said, that can be filling. It's right in there at 97.
Doc, can I get a glass of red wine, please, with this?
Vodka soda.
No.
Thanks, Val. No, house is fine.
Yeah, same here.
Doesn't need to be. And Sale with a 1-2. That slider going away from Turang. .88 pitches. Looking for an 8th strikeout.
Ooh. So what's interesting about Kolpa being a guy that has a bigger strike zone is he doesn't open the traditional spot, which is left on left. Right, that is the spot where most umpires will get a little bit wide on you, and he does not.
Well, the runner had started, so they're not going to get 2. In fact, now they're not going to get any. It's a little surprised Ozzie went to second there, as opposed to taking the sure out at first, and in the end they get nobody.
A little aggressive from Ozzie in trying to make it happen. I think he thought, had it been clean, he maybe had a shot, but you see how that hit the heel of his glove, and probably at that point is when you want to see a fielder change his mind and just go ahead and get that out. It took a little bit longer to get it out of his glove, or kind of the way it was rolling out of his glove on the exchange.
So tough break for Sale. First visit from Jeremy Hefner. Let's get a quick message in here from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
You've got Contreras coming up there now. He's had 2 good swings against Sale today. Deep fly ball and then a single. 1 for 2.
You see a couple times with Chris Sale where, again, he doesn't throw the 2-seam fastball very often. It is a very good ground ball pitch, and that's what he's thinking there. Right, come with the 2-seamer first, because as you mentioned, we've seen Contreras hit the ball hard against the 4-seamer, even at good velocity. I'd be surprised if maybe we see a changeup here or a slider, something off speed to try to do some of that weak contact if you can.
By the way, no air on Ozzie, just Turang reaching on a fielder's choice. And a swing that puts it through the right side. They're going to hold the runner at third. But Turang had made a big turn at second base. He was lucky to get back without a throw, but the bases are loaded now.
And it was the changeup, and Chris Sale going to that changeup again, trying to get some weaker contact. This one catches quite a bit of the plate. Didn't have, again, that same run, but because it was hit hard, what it actually does is end up saving a run here, at least an attempt at a run on that play.
Didier Fuentes is getting ready in that Braves pin now. Sale's at 93 pitches as he tries to get through the 6th. Gary Sanchez at the plate. Last time up, he grounded into a double play. Boy, you would love another one here. Two big seasons with the Yankees for Sanchez when he hit 30 homers. Those were his 2 All-Star seasons in 2017 and 2019. Hasn't been able to produce those numbers again, but still capable. Puts a fly ball out towards Eli White. Churio ready to tag at third. Eli White fires home, But Churio is safe. Interesting that it's the same guy that Eli White threw out last night from left. But this time he's safe and the game is tied.
It's going to be a little bit tougher here, even though Eli did an excellent job of getting behind the baseball and putting himself in the best position that he could. Now the throw was up the line a little bit there in foul territory. If it's absolutely perfect, maybe, but I doubt it. The head first slide there, Churio is safe easily.
So Churio with a dose of revenge, and now Andrew Vaughn at the plate, runners at the corners. Chris Sale has been so excellent here at home. 1.26 ERA at Truist Park this year. Now trying to get out of this with just 1 run surrendered. 1 ball, 1 strike to Vaughn.
The first 2 times he finished off Vaughn with the slider, you just saw one there. It was that line out that he had in the 2nd inning, and then the strikeout in the 4th. The slider that he hit pretty hard, that was one that Chris Sale tried to throw backdoor that caught maybe just a little bit too much of the plate. I think if we see it again, there'll be more of the back foot variety.
Up top 99, so you know when Sale's starting to empty the tank, and it's that time. He threw 99 on pitch number 99, and now here comes number 100. 1-2. Downstairs on the slider.
And you see where Joey Bart was set up, dead set in the middle. Doesn't want the pitch here. That's a starting spot for Chris Sale, with the idea that that slider would finish in off the plate and down.
Chris Sale collects his thoughts. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. Shallow center. Is anybody going to get there? No, it falls in front of Harris. And the Brewers take the lead on Vaughn's bloop single.
That's weak contact, just 72 miles an hour against that slider. It's down probably at the very bottom of the strike zone. But unfortunately, he didn't hit hard enough for Michael to catch it. And that's going to be it for Chris Sale.
So from the 37-year-old to the 21-year-old, Didier Fuentes will be up next for Atlanta. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Comcast Business. All-in connection and protection your small business can rely on. No one does business like Comcast Business. By the Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. And by Chevrolet, proud partner of the Atlanta Braves. So a couple of runs here for the Brewers, and they're trying to get some more across. Frustrating end of the day for Chris Sale, but all in all, another good start for him. And now it's time for our Coors Banquet Start Your Legacy as Didier Fuentes takes over.
Yeah, Fuentes has been excellent. Nice weapon out of the bullpen. As you take a look at his first 7 innings, now compared to his last 21 with that 0.86 ERA.
And he's facing a pinch hitter here in Jake Bauers, who was called in off the bench.
And so the other part of this for Fuentes, as he gets more and more comfortable now in the reliever role, he has taken on some inherited runners. Now it'll be 11 after today, and so far only 3 have scored.
Also going to have a pinch runner over at first base. So Sal Frelick is there. You still have Contreras over at third base, and again Bauers at the plate. It's
an interesting decision there for me, because now it's 2 guys off the bench. you're putting a guy, yes, Sal Frelick absolutely can run, but at first base with 2 outs. And if nothing happens here and Fuentes gets out of it, you kind of end up burning a guy like Frelick, and your bench gets a little bit thinner in what is a tight game in only the 6th inning.
And we saw Pat Murphy go through his entire bench in the game last night. Fuentes missing on the first 3. There's a strike. Happy belated birthday to Didier Fuentes. He turned 21 on Wednesday, so his first major league appearance as a 21-year-old.
And hopefully somebody got him one of those Jim Beam lemonades.
Those, if they're still at the ballpark, someone could bring a couple to the booth.
Oh, they are. I got a nod of approval today from my son, who is enjoying one. He said, "Oh, those are the real deal." It's a dangerously delicious.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Bowers came off the bench last night. Same thing today. Awaiting a 3-2 pitch. And he strikes out. 96 from Fuentes gets the job done. Milwaukee does get 2, though, to take the lead.
Good job by Fuentes to keep it exactly where it is with that big fastball that we've seen all season long.
The Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Truist. Another shutout today at Truist Park. Braves were on top 1-0. Brewers, though, getting 2 in the top of the 6th. So see if the Braves can respond here. So the changes, you got Frelick out at right, and now Bowers over there at first base for Milwaukee. And still Kyle Harrison on the mound, the lefty, facing 9-1-2 in the Braves order. Mateo reaches for the changeup and sends it out to Mitchell.
So if you're wondering about pitch count, you can see just 64 so far through 5 1/3 for Kyle Harrison. They've been somewhat conservative with him. He's been over 100 a couple of times, 101 and 106. But in his last start, it was 6 innings, 80 pitches. That one, of course, the blowout one, you kind of throw that one away. But they haven't really pushed that hard with him. We'll see, though, a day like today, if the score stays where it's at, they might push that pitch count a little bit.
Former Giants top prospect Kyle Harrison was a 3rd-round pick for the Giants back during that shortened COVID draft in 2020. He debuted with them in 23, but only had 7 starts. And then in 2024, he had an ankle and shoulder issue that shortened that season. So it's really not a lot of time at the big league level. It's his 51st career start today, but with the Red Sox sending him to Milwaukee, he has found his footing, and he's having the best season of his young career. 3-1, though. He falls behind Dubon. Is he going to challenge? Braves only have 1 left, so that would have been risky, but looked like it missed. What do you think in that spot? It's tough.
It is a tough one, right? The idea of drawing a walk, and of course you are the potential tying run. I put that leverage somewhat high, especially now where we are in the order and Drake Baldwin on deck. But you have to be 100% sure, I think.
Hey, let's see who's been making the grade, brought to you by GMC. And it is the Braves this year against the National League Central, 8-2.
It's impressive because the Central's been pretty good, right? That's been the bigger surprise stories in baseball is how good that division has been.
And the Brewers at the top of it, 45-28. That one definitely in the zone. So now 7 strikeouts on the evening for Harrison.
Well, reaching back for a little bit more here. 97 miles an hour on this fastball at that very bottom of the strike zone.
You're looking at that Central Division. The only team below 500 is the Reds, 36 and 39. Couple of bounces to Bowers. And Harrison continues to cruise. We're through 6.
And now get the entire season for just $49.99. Sale ends June 21st, so lock in this one-of-a-kind offer now, only on Braves.tv.
Another GMC Field report with a great Paul Bird.
I appreciate it, Brandon, but there's bad news on this one. The Braves lost the lead. But there's also good news. Their 24 comeback victories is second in all of baseball, only behind the Diamondbacks. Talking to Austin Riley, I said, why is that? He said, Paul, it's because our team is so deep and we have a chance with each guy coming up to the plate to come through versus being dependent on any 1, 2, or 3 stars on the team. We're sending a message to all the Braves fans that we're never out of it. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? And it's really the only way you can do it with the level of consistency that the Braves have with the comeback wins. You have to be deep in your lineup. You also have to have a really good bullpen that is keeping you in games. And the way that Birdie builds up that suspense, and it sucks me in every time.
I was like, oh, wait, is somebody injured? Where are you going with this, Birdie?
I like to do that. You know, enjoy the tension. We don't want an easy broadcast.
No.
Let's bring people up and bring them down and vice versa.
But Birdie's, overall, he's a people builder. He lifts people up.
I like encouraging.
Yeah.
You're right. It's a failure sport. So if we have a bunch of people piling on, you may not want to come to the park all the time.
It is an impossibility to have a conversation with Paul Bird and walk away feeling worse than when you walk in.
I would agree with that assessment. A lot of positive energy from Birdie. Fuentes got the strikeout to end the top of the 6th. He's facing Mitchell, who struck out twice against Sale. And now Fuentes trying to give him the hat trick. Stays alive. Our Papa John's key ingredients. That's what Birdie was talking about. The 24 comeback wins this season, second most in baseball.
That speaks great again to the offense, the resilience, the depth of lineup here with the Atlanta Braves. And we're going to ask them to do it again here this afternoon.
Dubon, is there going to be room over there? The answer is no. Oh, E10.
Easy. That guy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Remember, it's Father's Day weekend.
No way that guy's only trying to hold him with his glove. Throw your glove off and grab that ankle, assuming that is your pops right there. He would have done it for you.
It all worked. Got the souvenir. And gives it to this kid. Yeah. That guy, though, he's going to remember that one.
Oh, he had his phone out. Let me get my phone away, and I'll hold you with my glove. Is that enough?
Absolutely no help from the Brewers fans there, by the way. Ozzy's there. Now see, that guy's son is telling him, you should have used your hat, Dad. You should have used your hat.
A lot of stories there for both of those families. They're going to go on for a long time.
So Cooper Pratt, now his 5th big league game, just debuted on Tuesday.
It's a great name, too. It almost sounds fictional.
Good baseball name.
Yeah, did you read those Cooper Pratt novels?
Bryce Terang played a prank on him for his debut Tuesday in Milwaukee. He said, all right, kid, you're going to lead us out on the field. So he said, it's time to go. So Cooper runs out there and nobody followed him.
That's a good one.
So he was out there at shortstop all by himself, waiting for the team to join him.
Right, thinking I've had this nightmare before, and now it's a reality.
And then later on in the game, when he came up, the crowd started to chant "Coop," but he thought they were saying "boo." And so after the game, they asked him about it. He's like, I thought they were saying boo. I'm like, hey, I just got here. Why is everybody booing me? Like, no, kid. They're chanting your name. They're chanting Coop. And there's his 5th big league hit. All of them have been singles for Cooper Pratt.
So I told you yesterday there's something about this kid's swing that you like, and this is part of it, right? The ability to go the other way. You have a couple of strikes. You're facing a really good swing and miss pitcher in Didier Fuentes. And there's just a nice levelness to it. Good follow through, stays down through the baseball. And those are the kind of swings you feel like will play over the long term. Certainly the Brewers believe it.
And now Pratt takes off, and that vacates a spot where Ozzie Albies would have been, and puts the runners at the corners. This is what the Brewers will do.
You don't see the hit and run a lot here in baseball, but it works out to perfection for the Milwaukee Brewers because Ozzie was right there where that baseball was hit, but because he's covering the bag, it now opens up. It's really well done.
So the bottom of the order producing the 8th and 9th hitters with singles. Up to the top of Jackson Churio.
No action in the Braves bullpen, so this is Didier Fuentes' inning.
Talked about it with Chris Sale, but remember, for all these pitchers, first time working with catcher Joey Bart. Ozzie there to help translate.
Guys, I like this meeting. Joey Bart taking charge, making sure everybody is on the same page. This is one of those moments in the game where it is absolutely crucial that you know where you're going, you know what you're pitching, you know what you're doing.
I think sometimes you want to hear it in the voice too, right? As far as what you might be doing here. You got a really good hitter, red hot, coming into this series again in Churio. And the last thing that Joey Bart wants is any hesitancy at all from Didier Fuentes. So he wants to make sure that he's convicted in the game plan and the buttons that he is pushing.
And this is a matchup you might see a lot over the next 10-15 years. 21-year-old Didier Fuentes, 22-year-old Jackson Churio. Two balls, two strikes. The stretch is coming up after a couple more outs. Brought to you by Georgia Natural Gas. Nick Green, Peter Moylan ready in the battery. What a play by Riley. And across the diamond to get the out. Now the run will score. It did bounce.
That's interesting. Austin Riley kind of pointing in as if to say, hey, I think I might have caught that. I don't know.
Because I was wondering why he did not go to second.
Yeah, he looked, and then in his mind, I think he caught it, was looking to maybe double up the runner. It's hard to tell from there, but you can see your third base umpire is kind of right on top of it.
I think it bounced.
Yeah, it looked like a bounce. I would agree. But I think Austin Riley right here thinks he caught it. He sees the runner there and says, I'm going to double him up off first. That's why he didn't throw the ball to second.
Yeah, there's not going to be a review. No challenge. So Pratt comes home to make it 3-1, and now you've got the runner at second base.
You can only challenge those, I believe, in the outfield. But essentially, it's like a fly ball line drive, whether or not it was caught in the air. That's why Walt went. And you talk to the umpires and see if they can get together, and maybe somebody saw something that was different.
That's tough, and again, it's an unbelievable pick by Austin Riley. He might have been able to come home too, but that's tough. Everything happened so fast, and now the Brewers have an insurance run. Line towards right. Eli White, it's knuckling, but he makes the catch. 3-1 Milwaukee as we head to the stretch.
Welcome to the stretch. Fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Nick Green and Peter Moylan here with you. Peter, we saw a great pitching matchup yesterday with Jacob Mizorowski on the mound against Martin Perez. Today we've seen another really good pitching matchup with Kyle Harrison and Chris Sale. It's been pretty fun to watch.
We've seen some elite ball throwers over the last 2 nights, that's for sure, and they've all gone about it in different ways. How did Chris Sale go about it today? Well, honestly, I think he was struggling with these off-speed stuff early on to lock it in, but it was about that 3rd inning where he was able to lock that slider in, and it felt like the glove side fastball locked in at the same time. Now, I think he went to the secondary stuff a little earlier in today's game. We saw the changeup and he saw the sinker, but I thought that he was outstanding. That 6th inning obviously ran into a little bit of tough luck, and then we saw Ozzie Albies get on top of a heater here and deliver it to the chop house. That's really all they've been able to do today against Kyle Harrison, who's been kind of nasty, Nick.
Yeah, he's been filthy. The Braves have a little bit of work to do on the offensive side. They won yesterday by a score of 3-2. Hopefully they can get back in this one and take Game 2 of the 3 games set. Let's get you back to Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
So 3-1, Braves just a couple of hits. The one that got the run for them was a solo homer by Ozzie Albies in the 5th. At the time, it was 1-0, but the Brewers just kind of scratching and clawing to get 3 runs across. And now we'll see if Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, and Michael Harris can get anything going here in the bottom of the 7th.
It's a good way to describe what you have here with the Brewers. Scratching and clawing. It's what they do. Now the Braves are going to have to do it back against Kyle Harrison, who's been excellent outside of that home run that he led up to Ozzie.
He's only gone over 6 innings once this year. That was May 20th against the Cubs, and now looking to do that here again today. But if he continues to pitch like this, you pair him with Mizorowski, that's a good 1-2 combo.
And it helps them when you start thinking about potential postseason, right? When they got to the Dodgers last year, I mean, Pat Murphy was almost waving the white flag before that series even started, which I didn't love, but I think he was trying to make his point about feeling like the Dodgers didn't know anybody on their team. That's probably an exaggeration, right? Trying to play that underdog a little bit more. But the way you get through a postseason series, if you're a little bit light on maybe those big bats, a lack of slug, is by pitching and playing defense, and that's a pretty nasty 1-2 punch they have.
They're going to get Brandon Woodruff back soon. He's been out since the end of April, shoulder issue. Quinn Priester, they announced this week, is going to miss the entire year, so they might be able to use an arm at the deadline. But Mizorowski and Harrison, a couple of good ones, both 24 years old. Olson is 0 for 3. Ozzie Albies is our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact Player here today. Last 3 weeks, 19 games, 8 extra base hits, including that homer today.
Yep, he has been one of the few here with the Braves that has had a really nice month of June, and what he's done lately, and there he goes again.
A single to left. So he has 2 of Atlanta's 3 hits off of Harrison.
So he took the fastball to the opposite field for the home run. He stays back long enough on the changeup to lace it into left field for a line drive single.
And now we have the Harrison versus Harris battle here. Shows bunt. tried to lay it down that third base line, but sends it foul.
All kinds of room over there in the way that the Milwaukee Brewers are set up defensively, and that would have been a thing of beauty. Now the question becomes, do they cheat in to try to take it away? And it doesn't look like it.
Upstairs with 96. There is action now in that Brewers pen. Abner Uribe has started to throw.
Well, the quicker the better at this point with the way that Harrison has thrown so far, even though, again, there's good arms in that Milwaukee Brewers bullpen. You want to get a different look right now.
One-two pitch to Michael Harris and another foul ball.
He's doing a nice job of fouling off those fastballs. They have good life on them. The velocity is still good, and that slurve is in the back of your mind, right? Especially when you get to these 2-strike counts and you're facing Kyle Harrison left on left.
Liner, it's fair. Past Bowers. Ozzy's on his way to third. He's held there. It's a double for Michael Harris, and the tying run is in scoring position.
What a great at-bat from Michael. We talked about that breaking ball. He saw it the first pitch of this at-bat when he fouled off that bunt, and he gets one here, not where Kyle Harrison wanted it. Inner third for Michael. Hits it hard at 97 down the line. We were hoping, and I was hoping, that it would go into the corner, right? That's going to give Ozzy probably that opportunity to score, but it hits that shorter wall. And for the meantime, probably saves the Brewers a run.
And with Austin Riley coming to the plate, they're going to go to the righty Uribe as the drama builds here at Truist Park on this Saturday evening. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. And also by Georgia Natural Gas. Simple savings right here. Visit gng.com. So two in scoring position. Riley at the plate, and Abner Uribe on his 26th birthday enters the ball game.
How about a little repeat of what he did yesterday when he came in the game, and Mike Yastrzemski took him deep.
See if the Braves can give him a not so nice birthday present here on June 20th.
So we mentioned yesterday, two-seam fastball slider. That's it. Is a very simple two-pitch mix, but the strikeout rate jumps considerably against right-handed hitters compared to the lefties. More than double.
Boston stays off of 99, 1-1.
Which is why, not surprising, you see a lefty on deck now here. It's going to be Dom Smith, who is slated to pinch hit for Eli White.
Uribe, born on this day back in the year 2000 in the Dominican Republic, thrust into the game here in the 7th with his team up 2. His 1-1 pitch to Riley. He gets it by him. 100 that time.
And it's 100 with movement, right? That is a two-seam fastball that is darting down at triple digits.
Bouncer foul. We'll do it again. 8 homers, 35 driven in for Riley, but he's kind of waiting on that signature moment of the season. Fights off another pitch.
Yeah, as mentioned, hitting that home run yesterday against Uribe, but they're going to go Dom Smith.
Right now, all eyes on Riley. Another 1-2 offering. Kind of an accidental half swing. It will produce a run. So it's 3-2 as Ozzie Albies comes home.
Contact mattered there in a really big way. And again, you have a right-handed pitcher who strikes out right-handed hitters at a 36% rate. And so for Austin to be able to hang in there, find a way to get Ozzie across in that 2-strike count, that's big.
A visit to the mound. Well, you were kind of talking about it, CJ, but any thoughts on maybe why Dom Smith here and not Yastrzemski?
I think Yaz is not going to get pitched the same, right? He ended up hitting a fastball out yesterday, and we had noted it at the time, and then Uribe went on a slider run after that. And so I'm guessing here, maybe possibly thinking about the way this guy throws, what happened last night. Who do you like better against the Uribe slider? Perhaps that means it's Dom Smith.
$40,000 waiting to erupt. Pitching coach Chris Hook said his piece to Uribe. A deep breath from Dom Smith as he digs in. He went 0-1. Let's take a look at our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature. Talking about Dom Smith as a pinch hitter. And his career, he's been a good one.
He has been, and that also could play into this as well, right? The idea of coming into the middle of the game, who do you feel best about? Yeah, started that game yesterday when he eventually hit that home run.
But a bouncer right back to Uribe, and he'll get out of it with just the 1 run. 3-2 after 7. All-Star game next month in Philadelphia. Braves.com/vote. Drake Baldwin, Ozzie Albies are leading their positions in the National League. Matt Olson a close second to Freddie Freeman. Need to get him up to 1. And then Acuna and Michael Harris very much in the hunt among outfielders. Braves.com/vote. So Atlanta gets 1 back. Yastrzemski replacing Eli White in right field.
And this is another place in where this Braves roster really gives you a tremendous advantage. And it is the arms that you can bring in when you're down. We'll talk about back end of the bullpen like we saw last night when you can go Dylan Lee, Robert Suarez, Raisel Iglesias, Didier Fuentes, now to James Karinchak, who's been really good so far in his 3 games, and a couple of guys that have really good arms that know how to generate that swing and miss and do it while you're losing or while you're down. But in a game, not too many teams can do that.
And then Dylan Lee is also up, so he's ready if and when needed. Challenge, and it looked like that was low.
Pitch is called a strike. The hitter's challenging.
Contreras, a catcher, usually a pretty good eye.
Pitch is the ball. Milwaukee's got 2 challenges left.
Karinchak keeps it really simple. The good 4-seam fastball, good velocity, good carry, and then the curveball we know, and it is a big, deep, true kind of 12-6 curveball.
It's a 4-seam fastball hit out to Michael Harris. Casual catch, 1 away. A message right now from Yamaha.
Introducing the all-new Crosswave from Yamaha. The groundbreaking new wave runner built for what you love most about the water.
So Contreras is 2 for 4. Now Gary Sanchez.
A smaller, tighter version there. Almost looked like a slider at 84 there from Karinchak. Just based on kind of watching some of his energy in between pitches, he might have been a handful as a child.
That is painted now. Sanchez is going to challenge it.
Strike, the hitter's challenge.
I don't know, partner. I think this caught the zone.
I'm with you on that one. I think this is going to be the first missed challenge from the Milwaukee Brewers here.
This is a strike. Milwaukee's got 1 challenge left.
So both teams with 1 remaining. Good pitch there from Karinchak.
Yeah, this is paint, bottom of the zone again with velocity and carry that he gets. Nice job by Joey Bart as well as he presented it, but it was in the zone all by itself.
Fourth outing as a Brave for James Karinchak. Called up, made his debut on the 10th of this month, and now 10 days later trying to keep this a 3-2 game. His first at bat today for Sal Frelick since replacing Andrew Vaughn. Slaps it to short. Mateo makes the play. Karinchak sets him down in order in the top of the 8th. Well, this is before we got the steak from the Vice Steak Bar. CJ's excited. And watch CJ just go to work here.
Yeah, sound like Donkey Kong. I did go a couple of potatoes that were delicious. You went big there. That was a little risky.
Yeah, I wanted to just go in and sample it, but you continued. You fought the good fight.
Yeah. Just realized I got a color at the top of my head, a little gray up there.
Oh, that's character.
I didn't
that's
see that. I
intelligence.
noticed that little like a target.
This inning brought to you by Just for Men.
So that was excellent. I ate the entire thing and even had a little bit of yours that you left over up there on the counter.
All right.
Appreciate everybody's advice. That was outstanding.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Thanks to the folks at Vice. Trevor McGill, All-Star last year. Their closer situation's been a little fluid. It seemed like he had regained the closer role, but Pat Murphy's bringing him in here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
I think the way, again, that Pat Murphy has created culture here is that everybody has to be open to the idea that there may not just be one closer. Sometimes it could be about where you are in the order, how guys are pitching at the time. Now, with McGill, the strikeout rate is actually a little better than it was a year ago, but the ERA is higher. He's gotten hit just a little bit harder than last season, but still a really good arm that you have to respect. He has not given up a home run yet this year. What a great time for number 1.
Oh, line right back to him. Look what I found. Reached the glove down and made the play, and Joey Bart is 0 for 3.
It's another guy now, 3 relievers in a row where you're basically dealing with just 2 pitches, but it is a really good fastball. That one at 97 miles an hour, 98 is the average, and then the breaking ball is a knuckle curve.
So Rowdy Tellez, former Brewer, is going to come in here to pinch hit for Mateo, and that prompts a meeting on the mound.
It seems like with the pinch hitters, they have decided they want to talk about it in person.
Rowdy hit 35 homers with Milwaukee during the 2022 season. Now he hasn't been able to reach those numbers since. We'll see what he can do here with 1 out of the bottom of the 8th. Those are the career numbers. 9th season, 122 homers. With the Braves this year, only 3 at bats, 0 for 3. So still looking for his first hit as a Brave.
And this will be the role, right? The opportunity to pinch hit when the spot comes up. He has that kind of pop. We mention it every time. 9 career pinch hit home runs, most among active players.
Just on the corner, 99 from McGill. And he gets it. Goes to that knuckle curve. 2 outs. Quick message from Zaxby's.
Zaxby's Giant Wraps, Chicken Bacon Ranch, Asian Sensation, and Buffalo Blue. Who's got the sauce? Zaxby's.
All right, Mauricio Dubon now, who provided that big 2 RBI hit yesterday. Now 42 driven in on the season for Dubon. With the first pitch he sees, he skies on the right side of the infield. We are headed to the 9th. Brewers 3, Braves 2. So Mateo was pinch hit for Kim. Now it's short, and it'll be Dylan Lee to face 6, 7, 8 here in the 9th. It's our Car Shield defensive play of the game. It's Dylan Lee's numbers this season.
He has defended the mound really well. Run prevention has been on point, and that strikeout to walk ratio just incredibly absurd at better than 8-1 there for Dylan Lee, and those 41 strikeouts to just 5 walks.
And if he can hold the Brewers here and keep it 3-2, you like what you see in the bottom of the 9th with Baldwin, Olsen, and Ozzie coming up, and Harris behind them. A strike at the knees to Bowers. This series so far, kind of what you would expect from these 2 division leaders. Tight yesterday, Braves winning a thriller 3-2, and here we go again, 3-2 this time. The Brewers up as we start the 9th inning.
And I think we can point to, at least up to this point, the defense, right, and how important that has been. The Braves having a couple of really big plays in last night's game. And unfortunately for Ozzie, had that kind of one that went off the heel. Austin thought he caught one in the air that he didn't, that maybe they could have gotten out of, and that those 2 plays unfortunately resulted in runs.
This resulted in a strikeout. He freezes Bowers at the knees.
It's that great Dylan Lee slider. Can't put it in a better spot. Joey Bart, I don't think, had to move his glove.
Lefty lefty here with Mitchell. There's that slider again. Mitchell, former first-round pick in 2020 out of UCLA. Throw him another one?
I would. And we know, again, there's a lot of swing and miss there. Some lack of discipline that you get left on left. I don't think you necessarily take a chance. Now, can you use the fastball? Absolutely. In off the plate, up above the zone. But I wouldn't go in the zone with it in 0-2 count. Give him a chance to get himself out.
A bouncer to second. And there are 2 away in the top of the 9th. So 7 pitches to get the first 2 outs, and now Cooper Pratt. 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 7th, and right now that run that he scored is the difference in this ball game. He grew up in the Braves footprint in Oxford, Mississippi. Strongly considered going to Ole Miss, but ended up signing out of high school. And he's a good one. He's got another hit here to ruin a perfect inning for Dylan Lee.
He stays in the ball stays inside the ball very nicely. We've seen it already here a couple of games into the series, right? You see those hands and how close they are to the body. Doesn't get real pull happy. There's not a lot of upside power from him. There's a little bit in that bat, but you can see this is going to be a guy that is going to use all fields and be much more of a line drive type of hitter. We'll talk about it. The power can come later. Be a good hitter first. You can teach power down the line.
He takes off for second, and he's got a stolen base. Certainly a huge potential run out there now in scoring position.
Yeah, good jump, good speed. It's 3 stolen bases now, right? 3 for 3 here for Cooper Pratt.
Bouncer. Ozzy's got it behind the bag. Sidearm throw. Here we go. Bottom of the 9th. 1-run game. It'll be Baldwin first. Then Matty O. And then Ozzy. Do the Braves have some magic in that hat here on a Saturday night at Truist? So we go to the bottom of the 9th. And coming in for Milwaukee, Aaron Ashby. Now, he actually leads Major League Baseball with 10 wins. He does not have a save, though, this season.
Yeah, a couple of them last year, 3, but this has not been a traditional role for him, a guy who's been a starter in the past as well. And it's a much deeper repertoire than what we've seen from a lot of these other relievers. 2-seam fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, and even the 4-seamer. And that 2-seamer is firm, 97 miles an hour on average.
But with Baldwin and Olsen due up 1 and 2 here, they bring in the lefty. And Baldwin bounces this. It stays fair, but I think it hit Drake in the batter's box, and it's a foul ball. Yeah, Ron Culpa, crew chief, all over it.
Right out of the chute, you see that big sinker. That one at 98 with good movement and not afraid to throw it into lefties, and you will get a lot of these type of foul balls. And it did look like it caught that right toe of Drake Baldwin.
Thankfully, Drake okay. That one bounced well in front of the plate.
The movement on that thing and just has bite to it. You don't run into too many 2-seamers that actually have bite to them. That was a bad pitch. It was in the dirt, but you could see the sharpness and the movement on this thing.
Braves got the homer by Ozzy in the 5th, led it 1-0. Brewers scored the next 3. Braves got 1 back in the 7th, so 3-2. Setting the stage here for some 9th inning drama. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Drake Baldwin. The curveball. Baldwin not ready for it, and he is down on strikes.
That is the value of having that big sinker at 97, 98, and keeping lefties honest, and then going with the breaking ball, and that is a good one. You're worried about high velocity tailing in, and then you get a breaking ball moving away.
And now Matt Olson. 2 for 5 in his career against Aaron Ashby. Ground ball, foul.
And as much as it is impressive to look at the velocity, to look at the movement, the batting average against both of his fastballs is very high. 303 on the 2-seamer, 400 on the 4-seamer. It is those secondaries, though, all of them. Curveball, slider, changeup under 200. That has been the issue for opposing hitters.
Olsen able to stay away from the slider. Now you've got a 3-1 count. Ozzie on deck. Such an interesting year for Aaron Ashby. Those 10 wins. First time since 1959 a reliever was the first to 10 wins in baseball. But it's a different role for him here today, looking to get the save. Olsen, shallow, right center. It drops. Tying run aboard.
A good example of fighting off a high-octane two-seam fastball left on left, and that's what he got. It got in on him below the barrel, but enough for Matt Olsen to get a base hit out of it. And now you get the matchup you really want. Ashby's a different guy. It's a different look when he is facing the right-handed hitters. You take the slider out of it. You do add the changeup in. But a better look at the two-seamer that's running away for a right-handed hitter.
Good day for Ozzie. The homer in the 5th, the single in the 7th. Does he have one more big swing in that bat? Here's the homer in the 5th.
It was an impressive one for Ozzie because that's a good fastball you get from Harrison. He does not allow very many home runs, but Ozzie went to the opposite field against 95 to get the Braves on the board in that 5th inning.
Oh boy, just a touch ahead of it. Ashby 0-2. Did he go? No. As they check down with Scott Berry. It was close.
So Ozzie's gotten a look at everything here, and we know that Ozzie's kind of always in swing mode and then stopping that swing, and he did a good job of it there against the breaking ball. But he has now seen the two-seamer, he's seen the changeup, he's seen the curveball. Nothing really straight from Ashby.
Ozzie to right field. Freeland going toward the corner. It's gone!
Not only 2 home runs, opposite field home runs in big spots here for Ozzie Albies, and that is impressive against that kind of pitch. Big time two-seam fastball. It's hard to get underneath and get in the air. And not only did he do it, but he did it with authority.
He came into this ball game with 10 homers on the season. He leaves with 12. The number 12 is his biggest swing of the year so far. And Birdie is with the hero.
The energy, the crowd, new hero every night. Today it's you. Walk me through this last at bat.
I was looking for something up in the zone, tried to put a good swing on it to keep the line moving, but thank God it came to end up. It came out to win the game.
It was this far. That's all you needed. How about this crowd going nuts for you? They're giving you the curtain call.
Oh, it's the best thing ever. So that's the best thing, that the fans come out and celebrate with us and help us win games. So their energy just makes the game better.
That guy Ashby 10-0 over there, a very good club. You guys come out, beat Miz last night. Today, another hard-fought game. What is this doing for you as a team?
That one again.
What about these games? You're beating a great team over there. What's that like? Your pitching, your defense, everything. It feels like playoffs.
No, everything. It's like a playoff game, like you said. And I'm happy we came with the W today. It's a great team. They're in their first place in their division, so there's a reason why they play good baseball.
Man, I always love to watch you play. The energy, the excitement, bringing it every night, guys.
And a well-deserved Gatorade bath to end it all for Ozzie Albies. What a couple of games yesterday and today. This was a ton of fun, partner.
Steak every day. That's the call. Ozzie, 4th walk-off home run in his career.
And the Braves win it in dramatic fashion, 4-3. Stay tuned. Nick and Pete will have more. It's going to be a fun post-game show. It's been a fun series so far. The boys will go for the sweep tomorrow. For Birdie, for CJ and the rest, we're going to go ahead and signing off and saying so long, everybody.